Hi everyone, in this video I will make presentation about Oquator. And okay, first I want to make overview for you guys about my presentation. First, I'll talk about history and general information about Oquator. And second, I'll take you to ancient house at 87 Mame Street. And third, I'll present about ancestor worship and related information. And the last, I'll talk about coffee general and Vietnamese coffee. Okay, back to the past. In 1010, King Nisaito decided to relocate capital from Hoa Nu to Đại La, and then he changed the name to Thăng Long. Thăng Long means rising dragon. It could be surprised to know that Han Oquator came into being at that time, and the streets have more than 1,000 years old history and become crowded and lively in 15th century. What makes them unique is that many of them remain in their very ancient architecture of the 15th century. Up to now, it has been the oldest continuously developed area of Vietnam. And due to their long and lasting age, they are called Oquator or 36 old streets, as consisting of 36 members streets. In the past, as Ottomans moved to the capital city to do business, they gathered together in this area to share the resources. As a result, many of the streets were named after the crafts shown at that individual streets. Like Phố Hàng Mã means votive paper product. Phố Hàng Bạc means silver streets are example of the trees carrying the name of the product sold there. In fact, there are now more than 70 streets in this area, although many of the trees no longer sell the products after which they were named, and some still do. To be continued, I'll talk about ancient house. Ancient house were built in the 19th century to serve their business. In 1954, the government requisitioned their house and 5 different families settled down there until 1995. Asian house at 87 Mame Street. Here we can see the old house with a tooth design. The reason for this tooth structure is that at the time it was built, they calculate the taxes due to the width of the house. For that reason, the house was designed with great length to avoid taxes. Yellow paint is the French architecture detail in this house. Originally, the French painted building in Vietnam is white, but then they realized yellow paint when the walls were by moldy. Vietnam has a tropical climate, will make house look ancient, not dirty as when using white paint. And let's come into there is a skylight in the middle of the house to collect sunlight and fresh air. The cooking area has a great meaning to Vietnamese people. It is the place where mothers teach their daughters about life and cooking skills. The second floor, two pictures. One on the right is a fish looking at the shadow of the moon on the water. The picture represents men and students trying to get what they want in life. The picture on the left is a male peacock representing the beauty of woman. And move on, I will present about ancestor worship. The secret area in Vietnamese family. More than 19% of Vietnamese families have ancestor worship, where they worship their ancestor. We worship ancestor because we believe in the absolute life. We believe in the absolute life, and the belief have existed long before Chinese came here, about almost 3,000 years ago. A person died. He does not really die. He just go to another world, and in that world he still leaves something to enjoy, to use. We worship whatever we eat. We find it delicious. We find it believable. We worship ancestor first. We put it on the altar and burn incense. At first, we invite ancestors to come back home and enjoy their offerings. And the second, we ask for some protection from ancestors. We often do it on the first day and the middle day of the lunar month. And I will talk about 5 elements representing 5 states: metal, wood, water, fire, earth. Metal is something hard, earth something stable, fire something flammable, tree something powerful. As you can see on the altar, there is good to make altar. The candle, that is fire element. See water on there, and flower. Flower is beautiful today, but tomorrow is faded away. Everything is temporary, so we need to cherish our family members and everything we have at the moment in life. And its last, I present about the meaning of 2 flamingos standing on the backs of the 2 turtles, symbolize the harmonies of the sky and the earth. Also symbolize true friendship, as there were a story about a turtle and a flamingo saving each other's life. Okay, let's move on. I want to ask you guys a question. You know the first person who found the coffee? If you don't know that, I will give you some information. Coffee actually was invented in Africa, but we don't know exactly the first human used coffee. There's some story about that in the 15th century. There were herdsmen. One night he noted that one of his goats didn't sleep and roamed up and down whole night and energetic, and he knew that the ghost is something. And the next day he followed. After that, the goat ate some special leaves. He picked it up and tried it and ate it. That night he got starting so energetic. He roamed up and down whole night, didn't sleep. He found it interesting and he told his friends. And some people start ate leaves, boil it, and from then they make drinking. Around 16th century, when European people they developed the Pacific Science Revolution, they could around the world and they invaded the world and came Africa. They found some people drank that kind of drink. They tried it and they found it interesting and brought it back to Europe. And then the coffee beans, the coffee trees, flow the Europe stand to over the world. In 19th century, some French preachers came to Vietnam. They brought the coffee bean to Vietnam, the first place that planted the trees in Vietnam, in Nam Định, Hà Nam, and Ninh Bình. But this area didn't have a good condition for coffee trees to grow, and then they brought it into Central Highlands that have a good condition, and why the Central Highlands become the coffee kingdom in Vietnam. And you know that Vietnamese coffee mostly the Robusta coffee. The popular coffee in the world is Arabica coffee. If you try Vietnamese coffee, you will find it stronger and bitter because ingredients in the coffee beans. The Robusta contain almost 3% caffeine and the Arabica contain 1.5 or 1.6% caffeine. It means that the Robusta contain double caffeine level, so that why is bitter. Even though Vietnam is the second biggest exporter of coffee over the world, Robusta price much cheaper than Arabica's price, but because people in the world like Arabica. Okay, let's talk about Zang Coffee. Coffee Zang is headquartered in Hanoi, the birthplace of egg coffee invented by Mr. Nguyen Van Zang in 1946, and he was barista at the five-star hotel Metropole in Hanoi at that time. And I will share for you guys ingredients and recipe of egg coffee. First, ingredient contain egg yolk, coffee, condensed milk, banana, hot water, and recipe. First, combine the egg rolls, condensed milk and vanilla in the bowl of a stand mixer. Beat with the wire which on high for about 10 minutes. The appearance should be similar to a cake batter, not especially frothy. Second, gently spoon some of the whisked egg form onto the top of each coffee, 1 or 2 tablespoons per cup.